unbelievable. When you look at the documents, and once again, this isn't just this. All this is. If anybody picks up my book, they can go right to the source. They can find the original document mostly online and verify it for themselves. Well, then you got since heroin's involved here. That the CIA couldn't distribute the heroin. They didn't know how to get it into the neighborhoods, into the jazz clubs. So they needed to turn to somebody who had a distribution network.
Uh-huh.
And the mafia.
Here we go, right?
The mafia had a network that was in place since the Prohibition. And by 1947, Lucky Luciano was recruited to oversee this new venture, this new drug venture in the United States. Luciano had served with American intelligence during World War II.
Now, why did they kicked him out though? Right?
Well, they did. They exported him to Italy to help with the invasion of Sicily. And at the end of the war, Walter Winchell, who was the foremost journalist at the time, said that Luciano should receive the Congressional Medal of Honor for the wonderful work he did with the Office of Strategic Services. So he was like a war hero. And he was in the employ of the OSS and the early CIA.
Huh.
And along with Luciano in the employ was a guy by the name of Don Callo, who was in charge of the Sicilian Mafia, who also helped plan the invasion of Sicily, and Vito Genovese.
All mobster family members. I mean, we've heard all about them when we got the Valachi papers. You
got it, George. But all these people became, in Santos Trafficante, they all became instrumental in setting up this new heroin network. And in 1946, at the end of 1946, the heroin, thanks to the mafia, started to arrive in Harlem at the jazz clubs. And it arrived in crates of oranges. The oranges were really wax, and inside was pure heroin. And
amazing.
It was an enormous success.
And were they doing this, Paul, because they needed Black Ops money for all these things they wanted to do?
George, that's a good point, because you see, the Black Ops money could not come from a line item budget. It couldn't come from American taxpayers, because American taxpayers didn't want to support foreign armies on foreign soil.
That's right.
At this enormous cost, and it couldn't come from it couldn't come from any source that they could conceive of other than the drug trade.
Jeez.
So that's what happened.
And it festered, and it grew, and it got more profitable.
And it became millions started to pour into the CIA's coffers for Black Ops.
And the mobsters.
You got like these jazz greats like Billie Holiday and Navarro, just suddenly, and Charlie Parker. I mean, before that, heroin we only had 20,000 addicts in the United States in 1940.
Well, it sure exploded, didn't it?
It exploded, and these people, all the jazz greats, almost everyone I can think of, became like a hopeless junkie.
Yeah, that's right. Now, I assume the mob was skimming, giving a portion, of course, to the CIA, but I'm sure they kept their portion, didn't they?
Oh, they absolutely did. Sure. And
hold on for a second, Paul. We're at the break. We're going to come right back with you. Truly riveting operation. So we're talking about raising money, Black Ops money for this organization, for the CIA, because they can't get it from taxpayers. Congress is not going to approve it. And how much did they make? Millions? Billions?
Well, you got to realize that as we're speaking right now, it's $1 trillion business. The heroin's the third most valuable commodity in the world. So I'd say quite a lot of money.
Okay, so